Hello everyone, good morning. Today we are going to discuss the second half of Unification of Germany. Yes, so before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Harshvardhan Singh. As I completed my graduation as an engineer, then I did my master's in economics. Earlier, I was selected as an intelligence bureau officer, and since 8 years, I am working as an civil services educator at Delhi, Pune, and Nagpur. Those who haven't taken subscription yet, I appeal to all of you to take a subscription of Unacademy because it is one of the largest online platform. Along with that, here you will get around 15,000 courses from the expertise. We have a subscription of 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. So it depends on you. And the two types of subscription we provide, that is plus and iconic. So whenever you want to take subscription, you can use my code Harshvardhan and you will get flat 10% discount at the same time. So please subscribe to Unacademy. Now we are going to start this session with the Battle of Sedan. But I just want to give you the quick recap of last lecture. In the last lecture, what we discussed. In the last lecture, we discussed that 1884, 49 and 1848, 49 and 52, Bismarck starts the policy of blood and iron. For that, what he did, he started strengthening armed forces. He started strengthening armed forces. Clear? He negated the parliament, he negated the liberals, and he clearly said that Germany is too small for Austria and Prussia, and Austria has to leave. Clear? So, Bismarck policy of blood and iron was basically based on war. And what Bismarck want? Bismarck want Prussianization of Germany. That means he want Germany to be emerge as a strong state. And how it is possible? He said that unification from above. And in this unification, Prussia should play an important role. Clear? So his idea was very clear, and that's why he started strengthening the army. Then what we mentioned? We mentioned in the last lecture that issue of Schleswig and Holstein and war with Denmark. We already mentioned. Then we mentioned 1866 war with Austria through Battle of Sedan. Austria on one side, Prussia on other side. Italy was helping Prussia, and they combinedly defeated Austria and signed the Treaty of Prague. It was mentioned as a friendship treaty. Why? Because Bismarck doesn't want enmity with Austria. Bismarck wants Austria to be neutral in the future struggle. So that's why he made a friendship treaty with Austria. And we already discussed in the last lecture. But in the last lecture, I also asked you, what about the rule of France? What about the rule of France? When Prussia started expanding their territory, they started defeating the mighty power of that time. Don't you think so? The France was having the same fear from Prussia? No. And why it is so? Let me explain here. What happened and how it led to Battle of Sedan. It was not an event, it was a process, and the process began much earlier. So what exactly the case in 1866? Before Battle of Sedova, before Battle of Sedova, Bismarck made an agreement with the France. What that agreement was? They said that defeating Austria, after defeating Austria, territory would be given to France. In short, they say that it's an offer for you from who wants to be millionaire. Just what you have to do is what you have to do. Nothing. Just remain neutral. Just remain neutral, and for that neutrality, what you will get? Territory. Don't you think it's the most profitable offer for France? That without any efforts, France is getting territory. What they have to do? They have to be just neutral. While Austria was having war with Russia. So it was a clear-cut idea. France was ready for that, and because of that reason, in the Battle of Sedova, France kept neutrality. Clear this point, everyone? Good. So now, now France demanded that territory. France demanded that territory. Which territory? The territory which was promised in the Battle of Sedova. Now, Germany under Bismarck was evading. Germany was evading. When France continuously asking them, they tried to negate the France at that time. So finally, the Napoleon III was the Emperor of France at that time. He finally sent his ambassador to threaten Germany. The final words were there, threaten Germany. So at that time, what Bismarck did, Bismarck said that, okay, I forgot it. Do one thing, whatever you want, just give it me in written. Give it me in written. It was in written. Now Bismarck played his game. Bismarck uses the tricks and techniques. What exactly he did? He leaked that letter, and that letter was published in the newspapers. And where newspapers? He leaked that and published in the newspaper of London, and it made Britain angry. Why it is so? Because Britain was having fear that Napoleon III is going to start expand his territory. Clear? Just like Napoleon first. So they were having that fear. What Bismarck did right now, Bismarck said that, okay, don't worry, we will handle it. What you have to do, just keep neutrality. Britain. Napoleon asked Britain to be a neutral in the future war with the France. So France felt cheated. France was basically asking for their due. It was not given by Germany. So don't you think so that it was whatever the act of Bismarck, it is full of intention. Don't you think he did it purposely? Yes, because he knew that. He knew that if whenever he is going to evade, France is going to ask, and when they refuse, France wants to take revenge from Germany. And it is not a game in which France is taking lead. It was a game planned by Germany. Basically, Bismarck designed that and they compelled France to wage a war against Germany. He just want reason and France provided that reason. Clear? So when France attacked Germany, Germany was too smart at that time under Bismarck. What Germany did? Germany took help from Italy. Now, in the Battle of Sedan, what's the case? On one side, France is there. On other side, Germany and Italy was there. Why these two countries are helping each other? It's very simple thing. दुश्मन का दुश्मन दोस्त होता है. It's clear cut because both were having same enemy. For the unification of Italy, France was the obstacle. For unification of Germany, France was the obstacle. So that's why they combined themselves against France. And you know, Germany is not a weak power right now. It's an emerging superpower at that time, and that resulted into defeat of France. And a long dream comes into reality, and that dream was unification of Germany. Unification of Germany accomplished in 1870-71. Just imagine their forefathers, mothers, they saw the dream of Germany. As we mentioned in the first lecture of unification of Germany, at that time, what we mentioned, Germany was not a nation state at that time. It was a geographical land. It was a geographical landmass where people speak German as a language. So when the idea of nationalism spread into that area, it awakened the masses. There were several phases of unification of Germany that leads to unification. So the process of unification accomplished under the able leadership of Bismarck. So now, after unification, Prussia became Germany and Prussian king became German monarch. Here, the Prussian chancellor became the German chancellor. And who was he? The one and only Bismarck. Got it? Yes. Okay. Any question? Any query? No? Good. Next. So, if we want to sum up the unification of Germany, how German unification was possible? So, there are four important aspect that played an important role. That is the first aspect, cultural moment. It creates the cultural awakening. It creates the idea of oneness in the form of language, in the form of culture, economic forces, the forces of coal and iron that leads to economic integration. Clear? Solvering was the best example. Next, liberals also played important role in the liberal students. Most important, these students or the students all over the world, they are the torch bearer of new idea. They spread, propagate the idea very easily. So the vision of unification of Germany, or Germany should be nation state. So these students propagated the idea. This idea became a familiar to the German speaking people just because of the student contribution. Another, bourgeois. Bourgeois tried to unify Germany from below. Frankfurt Parliament is the best example of that. Clear? These bourgeois are liberals or were liberals. They want unification, but their idea of unification from below. But at least they created the awareness that it can be possible. And the most important task performed by the person, that is Bismarck. He single-handedly accomplished the task of unification from above. Clear, everyone? So this is the unification of Germany. If you are having doubt, please ask me. Feel free to ask. Now the next thing, and that is related to unification of Italy. As India and Italy is having cordial relation, there were many foreign travelers came to India from Venice. Yes, Venice is in Italy. Clear? So we had a great relation with them. Problems in the process of unification. Unification of Italy was the most difficult in common world, we can most difficult as compared to Germany. Why it is so? Because there were several obstacles in the unification of Italy. How? Let's take example of it. Italian peninsula was like this. Clear? The north portion, this is north portion, this is south portion, these are the islands, and these are the central Egypt. North portion was under dominance of Austria. South portion was under dominance of France. Here the Naples and Sicily. Where Sicily has Naples. Clear? So these all are under France. And the most important part, that is presence of papal state at the center. Papal state means where the Pope rules. Where Pope rules. And very surprising thing, a very surprising, and which create the situation worse. Piedmont and Sardinia. That's the native state. Only native state present. Piedmont and Sardinia was too weak to defeat Austria. They were too weak to defeat France, and they were not at all in a position to defeat Papal State, because Papal State is not a is not a monarchical state. It is having religious angle. So if anybody ever think about attacking papal state, that means people can consider it as an attack over Catholic Christianity. Clear? So don't you think so? Unification of Italy was most difficult than Germany. Why it is so? One more example I just want to share with you, that in the unification of Germany, Prussia was a strong native state. In the unification of Germany, Prussia was a strong native state, but it was not at all the case with Piedmont and Sardinia and Papal state. So here, whatever we discuss in the diagram, it is mentioned northern part was under Austrian dominance, southern part was under France, central part was under Papal state. Almost difficult. Presence of central duchies, I forgot to mention. These central duchies were the small states, autonomous states under Austria. Means presence of foreign dominance all over Italian peninsula except the presence of Piedmont and Sardinia. That is the only native state present. So unification of Italy was a difficult task because presence of foreign dominance all over the Italian peninsula. Okay. So next, the unification process. And one more thing, one more reason I just want to tell you how it was difficult, that Italian peninsula was economically very weak. Poor, we can say. Italian peninsula was economically weak as well. Then how unification possible? As we mentioned here, the Italian peninsula divided into the north part under Austria, southern part under France, and central part under Papal state. So in 1796-97, Napoleon conquered Italian peninsula. Napoleon, who was in France, and France and Italy shared their border. So Napoleon attacked Italian peninsula and he conquered that. Clear? So when Napoleon attacked Italian peninsula, he defeated Austria and freed Italian peninsula from Austrian dominance, Austrian control. And you know that as Napoleon is well known for his military skill, as well as he is well known as a reformer in the world history. So when Napoleon attacked and established, what he did, he destroyed the old structure and established a new structure. He started introducing reforms, and his reforms, you know that he promoted equality. He promoted fraternity, but he rejected the idea of liberty. He introduces financial changes. Clear? So basically, through the action of Napoleon, Italian peninsula somehow integrated. Somehow integrated. As we mentioned that Napoleon supported equality, Napoleon supported fraternity, but he rejected the idea of liberty. But once you're not going to propagate idea, it doesn't mean people are not aware of it. People are aware of it. When Napoleon introduces reform, it started awakening the masses. How it is so? Liberty, equality, fraternity. These words are always comes together. If we deny one and supported other, they are meaningless. People know that. What liberty? Liberty means freedom. So freedom from whom? Freedom from whom? Freedom from outsiders, alien. And who was the outsider here? Outsider was Napoleon. So what they want? They want freedom from Napoleonic rule. Awakening, see, awakening is of such level that they want freedom from foreign rule, and Napoleonic rule was a rule of foreigner for them. Clear? So they were started fighting against the Napoleonic rule. Clear? Everyone clear till this point? So in history, it is said that in the history it is said that Napoleon is considered as Napoleon is considered as oh sorry just a minute, one small change in the statement. So in history it is Napoleon is considered, or in one sense Napoleon laid the foundation of Italy. It is said that. So maybe this can be asked as a question. Napoleon laid the foundation of Italy. Comment. Such kind of question can be asked. So can we say that Napoleon really wants to be a founder of Italy? Napoleon really wants to lay the foundation of Italy? Not at all. Napoleonic idea was very clear. Napoleonic idea was very clear. He wanted to be a strong monarch. He wanted to follow the expansionist approach, and Italy is one of his destination. That's it. But how can we consider Napoleon as a founder of Italy? In which context we mention Napoleon as a founder? Because first thing, he unified Italy. Second thing, he ended Austrian dominance. That is most important. He ended Austrian dominance. Third, with his reforms, he ended Old Italy. Clear? And because of these reforms, it started awakening the masses. Clear? Clear to everyone? Good. So now what happened? everybody knew about that 1815 fall, complete fall of Napoleon, end of Napoleonic rule, and which country played most important role in that? Austria. So in 1815, Austrian dominance 1815 Austrian dominance re-established over Italy. That's the thing. That's the thing. Italy was divided among three parts: north, central, south. Napoleon ended that division. He united the people for his own sake, but at least unification was there. Again, Austria defeated Napoleon with help of other players. They defeated Napoleon and end of Napoleon. With the end of Napoleon, again re-establishment of Austrian dominance over Italian peninsula. So the question remains the same, whether unification of Italy is possible or not. Unification of Italy is possible or not. What were the challenges? What were the challenges faced by Italy? Or how Piedmont and Sardinia played an important role? So these are the questions remain unsolved. Clear? So in the next lecture we are going to answer all the questions. Along with that, in the next lecture we are going to unify Italy, and then we are going to discuss the comparison between both the unification process and similarities. Clear? So is there any question, any query? Please ask. So thank you very much for your valuable time. And one more thing, I just want to make a request. Those who want to join me, then you can join me at my Telegram channel, and the address is at Unacademy underscore Harshv10. If you want to connect me, then you're smart enough. You can find out the other social media platforms as well. So thank you very much for your valuable time. Have a good day. Take care.